Well, hey folks, Tip here from the Stupid Gardener. This is part 4 of our series, Compost Happens. And as you can see, I turned this compost yesterday, and I did film it, and I was going to put it up on YouTube, but it was real windy and rainy yesterday, and the sound was just not good, and the wind was blowing, and it kept blowing my tablet over. So I just said, you know what, I'm just going to turn this. So anyways, it was just me turning a compost pile, so it wasn't all that interesting anyways. But so I turned it from this bin right here, and I checked the temperature, and it was like 110 degrees, which is okay, but I really want that up close to 130, if not above. So it really needed to be turned. So I turned it into these next 2 bins, and it filled up both of them. And I checked the temperature on this morning, and so within 24 hours that had the temperature was like 95 degrees, and that's not bad considering that I had turned it. But I got some good airflow going through there, and there are some good greens in there. Still not a lot, but it is still breaking down. But hopefully the temperature on this over the next week will rise back up again. And I screened some off, and I will show you some of that a little bit later. But I want to show you the next project that we're going to be doing and what I have to do. So we're going to walk over here, and you're going to see my shadow, and I apologize, but I'll try and get where you can't see it. And but I need to fill in this raised flower bed right here. And this is about 4.5, 5 feet wide, and it's a good 16 foot long. And I really wanted to use that compost and fill that up, but it's really not ready yet, and I'll show you what I screened off just so we can we can see. I probably got another couple of months, but it's mid to late January here, and I got to get going filling this in. So I still got to dig around in there and get some of those weeds and grass out of there, and I am going to put down a layer of cardboard, and I have some right over here that I'm going to put on the bottom, and that's going to be like our weed barrier. And that should hold the moisture in. It'll get the worms up there, because the worms, as we mentioned before, they love this cardboard, and they will come up and eat it all up and churn it and get some worm castings, and that's some great fertilizer for your garden. So but we'll sit and talk about that. And I did have to break down and buy some stuff from Lowe's to start that, because that compost is really not ready. And like I said, I got to get rolling, because spring will be here before you know it. So we'll talk about that and what we're going to do in this area to fill this up, and because this is where that area over here is going to be where we're going to put our blueberries and maybe some raspberries, as well as some strawberries. And it gets a lot of sun throughout the whole summer. The sun rises off to the right here to the east, and so this is going to get full sun pretty much the whole day. So, and that's what we want, to get those strawberries and raspberries and blueberries rolling. So we'll sit and talk about that. Okay, we're back, and like I said, this is part 4 of our series, really turning your compost, even though you didn't see me turn it, but I did turn it. And this is Compost Happens part 4. So I just kind of wanted to go over what I saw yesterday when I was turning the compost. Now, one good thing I saw a lot of worms, so the worms are in there working. The only thing, if I didn't point it out, but there was some greens that were kind of growing out of that compost, and that was a straw that I had put in there, and it was germinating. And that's a sure sign that your compost is not hot enough. You want to get it above 130 degrees, because that'll kill those seeds that are in there from that straw. So turning it is going to get it activated again, and that temperature should come up, and we'll check it next week and just see how we're doing. And also, I said, the compost is starving for the greens or the nitrogen. I did see still see some grass in there that is still decomposing, and it was very hot, so that's good. So that's going to get that temperature up. So, but I did take some out, and this is what it looked like when I took it out. So, still some leaves. You can see there's you can't see this, but that's a weed that was growing off of that pine straw that was in there. hot enough, that will break down. So I did screen some of it off, and this is what I came up with, and it's still kind of thick. So that really needs to break down a lot more. I wouldn't want to put this into the garden because I feel it would germinate and then you get weeds coming up. But it smells great. It really does. This smells real great. So we probably have another couple of months to go. And but like I said, it is late January here, and we got to get rolling, getting this compost going and getting our raised garden bed going. Let's see, well, I mean, February will be gone before you know it, and here it is late January. And February, it is leap year, so we do have an extra day in February, but you know, by the end of March, we got to get rolling around Easter time and getting all our garden planted, so we got to get ready for that. So one of the things that I'm going to be putting in with the strawberries and the blueberries are going to go, I'm going to do just like we saw in the last video. I'm going to be composting some of my greens in there, and I could probably get about 8 of these just on my own at work every week. So I'll be putting some in there, and I'll show you that, and we'll watch it break down. And I'll stop close to the springtime because I don't want to be putting anything in there that's going to be competing against the plants, that, you know, the blueberries and the strawberries. I want all those nutrients to go right into that plant rather than messing around with this. So hopefully we'll get that all going. And but another thing I want to talk about is the temperature of your compost. And you know, if you are composting, you know, this is a very good investment. You know, you get this on Amazon, and it'll kind of tell you where you need to be. Yesterday that compost was about 110, which was okay, it was active, but you really want that, you know, 130, and it was a pretty good time to turn it. Maybe I should have turned it a week before, but we've been getting a ton of rain. And I really should have waited till today to turn it because it's a beautiful day here. It's going to be in the 70s. And I even have a pair of shorts on, and it's late January, so it's good to live in North Carolina. So, but anyway, so I had to break down and go to Lowe's, and I had to purchase, you know, some garden soil, and as well as some compost manure and some cow manure to layer the bottom of that. And so we'll go over that and the cost and everything. And but one thing I'm going to put in the bottom, like I said, was going to be this cardboard. And the cardboard that I like to get, you know, and I get this from work, they're going to throw it out, so I get it for free. I like to get the cardboard, it doesn't have any writing on it or any inks. You know, they say some of the inks they use a soy base and is okay to use, but I don't know. So there's no writing on this. There's no tape on this, plastic tape or anything that's going to get into your soil. So this is what I'm going to layer the bottom of the garden bed with. And I'll show you next week as far as I get. You know, I don't think you want to see me dumping soil in there or anything. It's kind of boring, but so I set a limit on what I was going to buy of like $50, and I ended up spending $60. And what I got some bags of compost manure, cow manure, and some regular garden soil. And I was able to pick up some of this garden soil that had some holes in it that they had repackaged, so I got them for $1 cheaper. So, you know, if anything is cheap, they're marking it down, grab it. And so that's good. So that kept the cost down. I didn't have to buy any peat moss. I have a little bit in my shed that I'm going to use. So if you add that in, I probably spent about $70. And like I said in my first video, my goal is to stop spending money at these box stores buying soil. I want to just use my compost and get these 4 bins. I may add another one and get them cranking this summer, so I don't have to break down and waste money on this, because already I'm $60, $70 in the hole, and I don't want to do that. So that's one important thing to remember. And another thing, I don't mind using this cow manure, but I don't put this directly by itself around plants, because I've noticed that it's kind of seedy. You get a lot of seeds in there, and you don't know what these cows are eating, what they're feeding them. And I've noticed when I put it around plants, you get weeds growing up. So this is probably good just to mix off and make sure you're mixing up with some peat moss and some of your own compost, and that way there it's not concentrated. You want to be careful with that. And a lot of people take a whole bag of compost, a whole bag of cow manure, and that's the way they'll start their compost, and that's fine because you're going to be mixing that. But putting that straight in there, you don't really know what's in there. So, just a quick video to let you know what I'm doing, and next week I'll show you how the raised garden bed for the blueberries and the strawberries is going, and we will check on the composting that I'm doing in our raised vegetable bed also, and we'll just see how things are breaking down. So, but anyways, it's a beautiful day here in North Carolina. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else today, and sorry to all my family up in New England who are suffering through cold weather, but to be wearing shorts down here in the end of January is perfect. And so anyways, if you like the video, hit that like button. If you like what you see, please subscribe. You got comments, throw them down below, and I'll see you on the next one. And this is a tip from the Stupid Gardener. Everyone take care. God bless.